Fast X is directed by Leterrier and is the 10th, 11th installment, if you count Hobbs and Shaw, in the Fast and Furious franchise. Fast X follows Dom Toretto and his family who are being hunted down by Jason Momoa's character. They did something to his family years ago and he wants revenge. I'm a fan of this franchise. I wasn't big on Fast and Furious 9, but I like Fast and Furious 6, I love Fast and Furious 7, I love Fast and Furious 8, and I quite enjoyed Hobbs and Shaw the spin-off as well. However, there were some concerns for me going in. As I said, I wasn't big on F9, and there was a big director change that happened in production. Justin Lin, the original director, left after a week of filming over creative differences with Vin Diesel, and Louis Leterrier just came in and started filming with no prep time at all. So I was worried this film was going to feel a bit messy in that regard. And I'll start with Leterrier's direction here, because I think this is actually a really well directed film. The action scenes have a lot of energy to them. Yes, the action scenes are ridiculous, but they don't go to outer space in this one. I had a lot of fun with the action scenes here. In terms of direction, this genuinely feels very thought through. So I think Leterrier did a really good job considering the circumstances. There has been a lot of talk about Jason Momoa as the villain, and it is all deserved. There is no subtlety when it comes to his performance, but he is having the time of his life, which makes his performance so entertaining to watch. It genuinely feels like they didn't even give him a script. They just went, look, your character is insane, and he went for it. He eats up every second he is on screen. And I also appreciated the writing of his character. You don't always know what his character's gonna do. He's actually quite unpredictable. So there were genuine moments where I was on the edge of my seat because I didn't know what he was gonna do. This being a Fast and Furious movie, there's a lot of stuff about family. That was a terrible Vin Diesel impression. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do think there are some surprising moments of heart. There's one moment towards the beginning of the film that's supposed to be emotional. The way they did it, it was cheap, but it worked on me, so I can't really complain. And there are doses of it throughout the film as well. I also want to talk about the soundtrack. I've always liked the soundtracks for the Fast and Furious films, and it's no different here. I think the songs work well for what they need to do in the film. I especially like the new song they wrote for the end credits. That was really good. So there is quite a bit I enjoyed in Fast X, but it does have its issues. This film does have a lot of storylines, and some of them work, whereas some of them don't. I think the storylines for John Cena and Jason Momoa were well done. And then there's stuff with Charlize Theron and Michelle Rodriguez that I wasn't quite as interested in. And that's the same for some other storylines in the film. So when it comes to the storylines, I was a bit mixed on them. And there are also a lot of them. Let's just say there are a lot of location title cards. And there are a lot of storylines happening at once as well. So I would say the film feels messy in that regard. I don't think this is just a criticism of this movie, but more the Fast and Furious movies in general, but there are just too many characters. There were times where I was just like, were you in another movie? If so, I don't know who you are. And yeah, there were a lot of moments like that for me. So I do think there is something to say on this franchise has too many characters now. I'm not going to give away any spoilers here, but the ending. They do something pretty bold with the ending, but I do feel like it could have been more impactful. That's all I can say without giving away anything. Overall, it definitely has its issues, don't get me wrong, but I had a fun time watching Fast X. I do think it's a step up from F9, and I'm intrigued to see where they go next. I'm especially excited to see how Leterrier builds the next film from the ground up. However, Vin Diesel has indicated that there might be 2 more films instead of 1, but I hope they keep it to 1 because I feel like it's just going to feel very stretched out otherwise. I'm going to give Fast X a B-. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. You guys are awesome. Blu-ray Billy, logging off.